All right, we good? Okay. Please call the meeting to order at 6:31. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need a motion for the acceptance of the agenda. Motion, please. Heidi, second. Molly? Any questions? All in favor? Okay, anybody from public forum? Nope. All right, I need a motion for the acceptance of the consensus agenda. Motion, please. We've got Joe and Margaret, second. I do need to mention, number C in presentations won't be happening tonight because Jen had a, emergency, so she'll be presenting in February. All right, all in favor? All right, first presentation is the athletics programs update. Angela. Hi, Angela.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you for all that you do. We really appreciate it. All right, so I was asked to give an update on the athletic department and our numbers, what's going on with football, talking about coaches, things that we do in our program to try to recruit people. So first I thought I would give you just a review of the programs that we did offer this past fall and the ones that are started or the ones that we have merged with Hawthorne Valley in. The only thing different from this fall than previous falls is that we have not offered JV field hockey this year. We did not offer JV girls volleyball due to low numbers. That is a first for girls volleyball, but the second year for field hockey. These are our breakdowns. There's 2 slides of this. Broke it down by level for you for grades. So you can see the participation by seniors, juniors, and all the way down to 7th graders, as well as on the right-hand side, the numbers of Hawthorne Valley students that have participated with us as well. And fall has a lot of sports, so this takes up 2 pages. Just also, I look back that I didn't put up here, but I look back at our total just to give you an idea of things in perspective. In 2022, we had 2,003 students, grade 7 through 12. In 2023, we had 2,016 students, so it went up a little bit. And in 2024, we had 2,009. So it kind of seems weird that we did lose some programs, even though the numbers really didn't fluctuate that much, but it just means that some programs grew while others got smaller. As far as varsity football, there's been a big discussion about our sports programs and the future with that. And we spent a lot of time discussing different possibilities for a program because this year we were not able to finish our 11-man team and went to play 8-man the last 2 games because we figured that was better than just forfeiting. The kids had a very positive experience with that. So as we decided what we were going to do in terms of numbers moving forward, we thought we were going to possibly be in the same situation this next fall. And we didn't want to end up having to forfeit to teams, jeopardizing other people's schedules, as well as making sure that our kids had a good experience. So I did put together a proposal and outlined a process where we reviewed things and identified who the stakeholders were. We held meetings with parents, I held meetings with coaches, I held meetings with students to try to get their input. And afterwards, we had decided to head towards 8-man. Merging with Chatham was kind of on the table, but we were really just their second choice. We felt 8-man obviously was the best choice for us to move forward with. Obviously, though, that is still, I want everybody to understand, not a definite yet. I'm still waiting. I did reach out to Section 9 to see if they have reached a decision yet, and they're still in discussions about it. They do not think they will have an answer until sometime February. So I don't have, as far as an update, anything definite to tell you there.
How many, when you had that invitation to families to attend a meeting, how well attended was that?
It was very well.
Very good.
But,
Very
but,
low. Low?
we, the parents that attended our
We went
meeting,
to the, in the pack.
yes, there was only 6 or 7 parents that came.
Probably more. Maybe they were spread.
But I have had a lot of individual conversations, and the parents that did show up were the ones that I expected to be there. And they brought a lot of good information and a lot of good questions to the table. So it was still productive and valuable. And a lot of them have kept in touch with me to try to, talk to me about what the progress is. And all they do is they want what's best for their kids. They want to make sure they have a program to compete in. And they want to make sure that they have the opportunity to compete in some sort of postseason play. All right, so our winter programs, again, put a star next to the ones that we are merged with Hawthorne Valley. However, they did not provide any students for swimming. Our swimming program did grow a little bit in terms of the boys aspect. We have 3 boys instead of 1 this year, so it tripled in size.
That's good.
As far as our numbers, the only thing we did not offer this year was JV girls basketball. That was also very iffy in numbers last year. We were very low, but we tried to keep it together. And we didn't have JV cheer this year, but JV cheer was new to us last year, so typically it's just a varsity program. As far as our numbers overall, this is where we're at as far as a breakdown, which I'm sure this can be shared with you if you want to look closely at it. And we have 4 Hawthorne Valley students competing on the girls basketball team for modified. And again, as far as our numbers for the 22 to 23 season, we had a total of 118 students participating. 23-24, we had 136, and this year we're down to 131. So we're really not that far off, but our numbers have been lower than way in the past. We don't have to cut kids anymore, really, very rarely. If it is, it's, because we have 30 kids come out for a modified team. We did keep a lot more kids on our modified teams this year to help continue to grow the programs and keep kids involved. And again, this is just another page for the numbers. Our spring program, we did not start signups until mid-February, so I can't really tell you what we will or won't have, but typically our spring season is not an issue. In 2023, we had 205 students participate. In 24, we had 200. So I would think we're going to be somewhere in the same area. All right, so as far as our successes so far this year, our varsity golf team in the fall was our co-patroon champions. In the fall season, we had 57 scholar athletes on the varsity teams. It's the only level that we look at for that. And 6 teams this fall were named scholar athlete teams. And we had 3 league all-stars, 2 for golf and 1 for field hockey. Our challenges, obviously still trying to get students participating, lack of officials still an issue, transportation, and lack of coaches. So what are we doing to try to combat those challenges? As far as student participation, one thing that the district does is allow students who participate in 3 sports to not have to take a PE class. We offer intramurals to the elementary students throughout the year to try to encourage them to get involved and see what they like and try different things. We've merged with Hawthorne Valley. We have a lot of face-to-face conversations with students. I've also made tons of phone calls home. I will go to PE staff in the elementary as they're coming into modified and say, what kids are athletes? Who do you think? All right, and if they see that these kids aren't signed up, I will get on the phone and I will call home and try to talk to the parents, try to convince their kids to try out and do something.
Well, that's good.
That actually has paid off in the past couple of years because we would not have had a couple of our modified teams in the fall if that didn't happen. Lack of officials. Our officials are getting older. So one thing this year is I did get approved for a grant to purchase licenses to start a program for 17 and 18-year-olds to train and become officials. We do have a few students trying that out for basketball. Again, I think if our kids weren't pulled in so many different directions, I might be able to get more, but at least now they hear me talking about it, so maybe over the summer I can try to get more involved in doing this. If they get certified, they could officiate modified games as a high school student and get paid. So
In any sport, or, I mean, is it gonna
It's
be
basically,
specific?
it's certain ones right now that the training is offered for online. They can do football, they can do baseball, basketball. Those are the few right now. They are coming out with more programs for it.
You feel?
Yeah, yes. Transportation, as Bobby Joe knows, is also a struggle. We have surveyed parents to see how many kids can drive their kids to games in case of an emergency. So I do have data on that in case something happens where we have to cancel a bus driver or a bus because we don't have driver available. We are looking into, as a district, to see if we could possibly offer CDL courses over the summer to maybe train some of the coaches to drive as well. And our lack of coaches. That is a continuing problem. I find more and more each year that I have to try to find people in the community to coach, which creates more issues because then you have to make sure it works according to their time schedule, according to their work schedule. Also, outside people don't really understand how the school works until they actually spend a few years coaching here. But I do have a lot of face-to-face conversations with faculty and staff, talking to them about the benefits of coaching and how it helps improve their relationships with kids. But, we just haven't really received a lot of interest. We also we have a contract with Top Form to try to offer first aid CPR free to coaches. There's a lot of online courses now that make it easier to be certified as a coach. And, I assist them the best that I can, make sure they're always known that they're supported in their job and in their role.
Those courses, I know for softball, that my husband had to take like those, are they ACE, are they still called ACE or whatever?
I think that might have been different because was that for youth?
Maybe, it could have been, yeah,
So,
but
now it's under NFHS Learn.
do they have to pay for that themselves?
Yeah,
or does the school
they do.
district pay
No,
for it?
they do. They have to pay for that.
And they're required to have that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so they're, if faculty and staff were, I know as part of our contract, they're over a 2-year time, they get some of that money back. But, we do try to offer things, like Sandra has offered the DASA course for free. So we do what we can do to help them with the cost. Like I said, the first aid is also a big one. And now that the courses a lot of them are online, it's actually cheaper than it ever has been.
Yeah.
They can actually, from start to finish, all the courses that we have accomplished for $300 where it would have cost them close to $1,000 before.
Oh, wow.
And that's all I have. So, do you have any questions for me or any other,
Yes, all mine.
anything that you would like to know?
Thank you.
Okay,
I
thank you so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Angela.
Okay, next up, we have proposed new courses and assessment results. Sandra?
So this is, I think, probably one of the most exciting presentations I've ever done on new courses because we have the most that I've ever presented to you. So I want to thank the team of teachers and administrators that put the work into making sure this would happen. So
The down button.
I always want to reverse it. There we go. Thank you. So just a reminder, we add new courses because we want to give students voice to what they're taking. So this allows them to explore other career choices that they might be interested, earn college credit, enriches their school day, and promotes active engagement. It also allows us to improve our high school graduation rate because students are more engaged in courses that they want to be in. It also helps our post-high school enrollment. I've spoken with you in the past about how well we do when our students go from Taconic Hills into a college program. We have a pretty high rate usually of sustaining students in the college program. So when we have courses for them that prepare them for that, they do that. Another piece of this is the portrait of the graduate. I was just on webinar today about this and some of the changes that we're going to see. You're going to hear this a whole lot more over the next few years. So it just goes right along with the portrait of a graduate to add more courses in. And gives alternative pathways, which is going to be part of the portrait of a graduate also. So I'm sure that we will be speaking with you quite a bit about that as the years progress. It also allows us to adapt to students' interests and needs, because they're always changing. Just as Angela just spoke with you about the athletics interest changing, student interest in coursework changes also. I wanted to highlight the area in the strategic plan that we are addressing with adding new courses. It's that growth mindset and individual success. So I just wanted to highlight and make sure that you understood where that was coming from. So these are the courses we have for you. In social studies, there's 4 of them. In health, there's 1. In facts, there's 1. In technology, there's 2. In music, there's 1. Agriculture, there's 2. And English, there's 2. So let's start with social studies. So the first one is one that Nancy Byrne has proposed, and we have been working on the Seal of Civic Readiness, and this course goes along with that. It'll be a half-credit course, and she is looking to possibly even do it this spring. So getting it approved tonight would allow us to be able to do that. And she really wants to look at that participatory piece of government. Women in U.S. history. Laura Reelman has proposed that. She usually teaches art history. Some years we offer it, some years we don't. We were trying to get on an every other year basis, and this one would go on the opposite year. And this is going to allow our students to explore the diverse and many roles that women have played in history and how they have contributed to our society. Next one is U.S. history, and these are 2 courses, half a year for the first few years, second half for the rest of the few years. It covers a lot of time. It also allows us to have another avenue other than the AP history. The Stress Busters is the health one that we're going to propose, and this one is about stress and relieving stress, and this is kind of one of those enriching, fun classes that really will support students beyond the one mandated health class. So we have a lot of students that want to go into health career fields, so this will allow them to explore that field beyond their normal health class. Independent living is our next one, and this will be in the facts department. And our students are constantly asking for more courses on financial readiness, preparedness for life after they leave County Hills. And this will be what they will be able to do in this class. They will learn about bookkeeping for themselves in their home, certain things with household management, textiles, all of those pieces that are important to living independently. Basic residential maintenance. We talked about this, I think, the other day a little bit. This is where we're going to learn how to just do simple things in the house. Repair the drywall that had a hole in it. Make sure that you can secure your plumbing so you don't have a flood before you can get a plumber in to do things for you. So it's really about taking care of your home. Kogan 1 and 2, we have had Kogan on the books. It's being taught this year by our new tech teacher. He's really had success with that. In fact, there ended up being a student that stayed later because he missed his 5 o'clock bus. And he was hanging out in my office this evening, and he was talking to me about all the coding he's doing, and he's just about at the point that he's going to start to earn some money for his knowledge. So there's a great group of students that are ready to go on to coding number 2. And our music one is class piano, and we're going to start that as a 1 credit this year for a full year, and see how that goes, and look to maybe even expand another year. But there's a lot of students that have been in that music lab, and they're very excited about the new technology. If you remember, we upgraded that technology, and they're excited to have the chance to explore in this area. Floriculture, as you know, we have had students that have been very interested in this career pathway, as well as just doing it for fun. So there is a FFA contest every year. We have fielded at least 2 teams, but we're competing against teams that have this as a class. Our students have asked for this class. They have had a lot of opportunities to explore it. The FFA chapter has done 2 weddings over the last few years. So this will really help them cement those experiences and learning in a much deeper context. Foundations of Education. This is our English offering, and this will start as a half year in this course, and then the students can continue on to the next education course. I think this is great because we really do need teachers. We need to have our students leaving and wanting to go into the education field. I feel like if they have the coursework, that helps them understand. That same student tonight was asking me, so does school feel the same way to you as someone who works here as it does me? And he wanted to know my perspective of what school feels like as a worker in the school. And I thought that was quite a great question for him to ask me and want to chat about. So the Foundations in Education is a great one to add, as well as the education of diverse populations. So this one will look at more of the elementary end and some of the cultural pieces of education. And that's it. You have questions?
So the classes that are social studies and English that are for the community college credit, they're all taught here
Yes. Yes.
with teachers, not like virtual.
Our teachers, you have the Columbia Agreement syllabus. Our teachers have to be approved. So anyone that's teaching a Columbia Agreement class has their master's in the content area. They're approved by Columbia Agreement, and they follow the Columbia Agreement syllabus, and typically we use the textbook if they are using the textbook. We are finding, again, as education evolves, less and less college teachers, professors are using one textbook too. So there's a little bit more flexibility on that. Any other questions on the new courses?
Sound great.
Thank you for the selection.
I'm excited about it.
Well, many people went into the work on this, so really thank the building administration, the teachers, and everybody that worked so hard. And thank you also for being so interested in improving and listening to what we want to do.
Sandra, I just want to point out too that this started with students and Dr. Teeter and Ms. Dalia during town hall meeting asking students what other courses they would be interested in, which goes back to our priority 1 on our strategic plan, because we want our students to be engaged and have opportunities to take classes beyond the mandated courses that New York State does. So student voice was important in this process as well. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, so typically I do this in a workshop format, so I will try to go through it as quickly as possible. If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask me while I'm on this slide. I'm certainly open to that, and I do promise I will do it as quickly as possible. So just want to remind you why we're here. This is our mission, our vision, and again, when we look at data about student achievement, we want to do it with a growth mindset and a mindset for individual success of each and every student. So we're going to talk about the 3 through 8 English language arts first. I have put the direct link so that you can go right to that link in here so that you don't have to struggle finding the school report card. All this information is coming from the school report card. So this is last year, 2022-23 results. So remember, school report card is a year behind of what we are in the academic year. And I did not choose to show you previous data because remember there was a change when we presented last year in the testing and we really couldn't compare results from one year to the next because it was a different test. This is on the next generation learning standards. So that was 22-23 and here's 23-24. So you will see the arrows going up are areas where we have improved, and these are cohort to cohorts. So from the previous year, grade 4 went up, previous year, grade 5 went up from their 4th grade testing and so on. So you will see that in most cases, Taconic Hills in yellow went up, and it's a little bit mixed at the state, and actually on the ELA, the state went down a little bit in proficiency, which for the state to go down is kind of significant because their population size doesn't change that very much, and it's a very large population.
So
We stayed about the same.
So grade 7 on this slide
Yeah, what
was
happened to
grade
grade
6
The previous.
previous, and they were
Higher.
They were
higher.
higher.
And now
than-
they're,
So there was a real drop in their performance in 7th grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I think there's a multitude of reasons. If you remember, from past previous presentations, 7th and 8th grade is a weak area for us. We've always struggled in those 2 grade levels. Additionally, we had staff changes, we new staff coming on board, so sometimes that also can cause a change that's a little more significant. That's why you see my thought clouds in certain spots. I still would like us to come on much stronger in the beginning at 3rd grade, as well as 4th grade. I would have liked to have seen that a little bit stronger, and 7th grade definitely. Our shining stars or thunderbolts are grade 5 and grade 6. And then I just summarized some key wonderings and trends as to why, I'm thinking things happen and just important information for you to consider when you're looking at this data. I want you to remember that 10% for us is about 8 students because we have about 80 students on average in each cohort. We would need approximately 4 more students to move up in proficiency level to be at the state level. Our overall proficiency level did remain the same. I'd like it to go up, but it did at least remain the same. The state's increased. Overall testing rate was 7%. That's better than we've had it sometimes. We still want to work on that. And we found 2 grades in specific, which is why I put that thought cloud over 4th grade, that had higher rates of not being tested. Now, not being tested can be because high absenteeism or parents opt their child out, something like that.
Are they still doing that?
So we actually, the only in between 3rd and 6th grade last year, the only parents that opted their students out, and yes, they can still do that, were parents in 4th grade. A number of them are people that work here. But we had some really good conversations, and I was able to convince, some of them actually had their kids take the math, and they didn't want them to take the ELA for a variety of reasons, but I have their word that they're going to let them try this year. So we'll see what happens. They're now in 5th grade.
Thanks, Mary.
So, some of the other wonderings is when we look at our subgroups, there isn't a lot of variation except for our students with disabilities. So they have the largest gap between all students and where they're performing. So those are the gaps there that I pulled out for you. Otherwise, all the other subgroups were pretty much on par. Of course, it varies at each grade level, varies in the content area a little bit every year. In the past, we have talked a lot about our male, female, and had noted that at times our male population wasn't performing as well as our female. That seemed to have corrected itself. So some of the work we've done in addressing equity and education and how we're engaging our students has really paid off for that. This is the math, and again, the link is there. 22-23 results, also next gen, new testing, new standards. So here we go.
Wait, can you just go back? I just want to see,
Certainly,
just so that when we go to the next one, I can.
I'm keeping my finger glued to the top. I need to have on the clicker.
Okay, we can go next one.
Thank you. I do want to point out something on the math. You see combined 6, combined 7, combined 8. The combined 8 only applies to us, and that's when a group of students is taking Regents level exams. In some school districts, we have, in New York State, 6th graders taking Regents exams. I tried to figure out who it was, and I went to some of the really big school districts, and none of them had a combined 6 or a combined 7 that was different. So most of it is just at 8.
Well, it looks like grade 7 is also having an issue here, so it's like, what's going on with this cohort? Because that's really what I'm seeing, because it's both English and math. So there's something going on here.
It's cohort, but these results are consistent year to year in grade 7. So I'm hopeful. That was one reason we knew we needed a new math program. And I'm hopeful that, the data led us to this decision, right? And we did the review process, and hopefully in a couple of years we'll see better results because we have followed that math curriculum.
I hope so, because that's pretty bad.
So again, just want to be mindful. In this case, it's about 6 students that we need to move over to reach the state proficiency level. Our overall proficiency level increased slightly, as well as the state's increased slightly. Our not tested percentages were higher in grade 8, 16%. So that also leads to a situation of the lower scores and the thought clouds there. Overall not tested rate was less, so we went from 7% in ELA to 6% here, so that's great. Again, grades 5 and 6 performed at higher proficiency levels, and I will tell you that indicates strong professional performance in the classroom and growth with the students. Again, the one subgroup is our students with disabilities. That is fairly significant. Fifth and 8th grade science, this was a new test this year. This is the first time we gave it. Again, the combined situation comes the Regents piece in. Really, really strong results for us in grade 5. 44% on a new test is terrific in my mind, especially when you look at the state level was 35. So we were considerably higher than the state. Room for growth in grade 8. However, the Regents exam, those taking the Regents Earth Science exam, did very well with a 94% master level. That all comes out to doing quite well in science, a 43% proficiency level, and the state's was 44. Again, we want to be mindful. So in this case, we need less than one student to reach state proficiency. Grade 5 was not only strong in the state, it was in the top 5 of all the districts in Questar. We had Questar Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Council members here last week. One of the people they wanted to meet was Christine Wittenberg because of these results. They knew these results were there, and they wanted to see some of the instructional strategies she uses in her classroom, and her presentation went very well. Not tested percentage was high in 8th grade, again, 13%, and the overall rate was 8%. I'm hoping that will go down with the new test. Getting through that first year is sometimes hard. Again, our biggest gap is with our students with disabilities. However, one interesting piece as you look at the data in the report card, our 8th grade students, the Hispanic and Latino students performed very well in 8th grade at 29%, so they were higher than the all students. So again, we are having ongoing conversations with guardians. Those started as soon as last year. Okay, when students bring in that letter to opt out, principals don't let it sit on their desk. They make phone calls and they actively talk to parents and explain the testing and how we use it and how it can benefit their child to take the exams. So they are actively engaging. And I would say our building principals, and I would like to get us down to that, under 5%, and I think we'll do it this year. I hope we do. Concentration this year has been on tier 1 instruction, the first level instruction, the first instruction that students get. You've heard us talk about that this year. And we're doing that through learning walks, walkthroughs, and that's all reflected practitioners. Reflecting on our teaching and always getting better. Uniform lesson planning with learning targets has been another focus this year. And this ensures consistency across the grade level as well as alignment and clarity. And students know why they're learning, what they're learning, and what they're going to do with their learning. We've done a lot of work with teacher leadership in the classroom, and this empowers our teachers. It fosters collaboration among teachers. It increases the rigor and models best practices for us. Done a lot of work. Mary and Darby had this summer, and they built Word of the Week with explicit instruction on that. And that's based off of Marzano's research. And we have grade level and content specific vocabulary lists that we are working with, and that's all done through direct instruction. We did the math program review and a full adoption K through 8. We have ongoing professional development for teachers all the time. For math program, as well as the integration of mathematical practices, has been a real concentration this year, and modeling thinking for our students so that they become self-sufficient thinkers and critical at analyzing data. The development of the learning targets and increasing our rigor has been critical. We've done a lot of research, a lot of science of research training, science of reading training, and that includes training on the briefs published by New York State, letters training, Gordon Gillingham, the SUNY New Pulse course, dyslexia training, and brain research. We've done a lot of work with our phonics and phonemic awareness programs. and that's Haggerty and Foundations, just a reminder of the programs that we are using. All K through 3 teachers were retrained in Foundations this summer. And the Haggerty training happened early in the fall. We use turnkey training a lot for teachers, so we can't always send everybody out, but we can send a few key people that bring back the knowledge. I had sent somebody to the dyslexia conference a couple of weeks ago, and within that week, I had 2 questions from other teachers that was able to refer those teachers to the person that went to the dyslexia training, so that was great. Really want to take a collaborative and team approach to our instruction. That's important to get. We've done a lot of work on the students with disabilities. I highlighted that subgroup because it wasn't matching our overall student level of achievement. So some of the work that we've done is worked with the Regional Support Center. And in that, we have done PD for co-teaching, classroom observations with intentional coaching after those observations, administrative calibration so that we are all as administrators knowing what we're looking for and looking for the same thing. So we're all doing the same thing to our teachers. And with the Regional Support Center this year, we will be looking to increase our capacity for our SPED and co-teachers specifically in specifically designed instruction and explicit instruction, and that will include professional development and work on scheduling for planning time and coaching and calibration again. And we are always looking to increase student voice and advocacy. Jen has talked to you a lot about her success with the student-led IEPs. We started that initiative about 3 years ago, and it really has taken off, and I think has proven to be very valuable at incorporating student voice and also student goal setting. Now we're going to take a look at the test that our English language learners take in the spring, and that's called the NYSSLAT and their achievement results. And again, the link is there for you. It comes like this, so it's not as neat, and we have such a small population that you don't see numbers for a lot because the state will only give us numbers when there's a large enough that we can't identify who the student is. The good news, I simplified. So when we are looking at NYSSLAT, it comes in 2 ways. It comes in a raw score way, and you're looking always to increase the raw score. And when they get to a certain level on that raw score, they're considered commanded. And that raw score is the same whether they're in 2nd grade or 12th grade. So once they reach that raw score level, they are considered commanded. So we want to increase the raw score every year. So if you look at that, we had 25 students that increased their raw score, that's 80%, and 6 that decreased their raw score. So that's a roughly 19%. Those raw scores translate into levels, and what you want is a level increase every year or 2, as much as possible. And the great part about the leveling, I think, to look at it that way is you could be a hair off. Numbers are sometimes tough when you're looking at 265 versus 266, and some of those 6 students were like that, right? But if they're starting to increase their levels, that you know that they are gaining a better command. There's multiple areas that are tested in that NYSSLAT, so maybe they're just making progress in their written language, or their spoken language, but they're not making progress in their listening. So just how they're making progress in what they're doing. And again, good news. 23 of our students increased their level, 20 stayed the same. So we would want that, either staying the same or increasing, and 5 decrease. So Our key trends and wonderings for our English language learners is we know we're making good progress with our students. The results show that. But we really want to look at our students that are remaining the same or decreasing. So really looking at those 5 or 6 students and seeing what we need to do for them, especially if it's happening through years of schooling. We know our population is transient in this group, so we also want to look at, how much are they coming in and coming back and going out again. I just lost 2 students over the last couple of weeks, and then getting a new student that's 17 today. So, it's constantly changing. We need to gain more insight on how English is practiced in their homes, and see what we can do to support the students that maybe it's not being practiced as much in, and see if there's a correlation to their progress. So that's something we're working on. We also want to make sure that raw score is increasing each year as much as possible, so we're looking at how to do that. We are currently creating a new assessment that we're going to use in-house that looks at the NYSA SLAT and can help us maybe predict. We're deciding not to do NWA in the winter session. This kind of opened up a little bit of time for us to develop that and see how our students do that. And we're working with the regional support center for that. And we are also addressing students that are under the category of L for more than 6 years, because we want them to, once again, want to make the progress so that they can get the most out of their educational experience. This happens through progress monitoring. We do lots of targeted interventions and explicit instruction for students, as well as communicating student progress out and co-planning with classroom teachers. Our ENL teachers are co-planning every morning with classroom teachers and working with them and communicating. We're conferencing with guardians on student progress and home support that can be given, working with classroom teachers and grade levels on accommodations and modifications. We want to make sure that we're being dynamic with that. As students progress in their English skills, things change. So we're constantly in communication about what is best for each student. We provide strategic interventions based on those assessments. We're using technology. You had a chance to hear earlier this fall about a grant that Mary Watkins wrote and received about the translators. So we're strategically using translators only for our beginning students. But I had a chance today to use it myself with a guardian that came in with the new entrant, and it was really helpful. And I really felt like the new student felt a little more welcome to our building because I was able to talk to him and relay information to him through the translator. So we also provide personalized support for students after hours. So I talked about that progress monitoring, and what we're doing is really looking at our students that need that extra time that isn't in their schedule in the school day, and working with them on scheduled days where they stay after, and there's a consistent plan each week. So just as we would plan for lessons, there's a plan to provide that explicit instruction to the students after hours. And most of our students are very receptive to that. We're strengthening our outreach to classroom and content area teachers. There's an ENL snapshot there. That's a form that we're working on to provide information and be able to update to teachers all the time information on their.
What are some specific strategies for the ENL kids?
I'll take one student that I was in a small group observation with a teacher that was pulled out. She had a group of 4 students. It was mixed grade levels. So I was doing the observation with her, and when we debriefed afterwards, she realized that she had probably not met the needs of one of her students, which was the second grade student, and his 3 other first grade students. That second grade student was starting to disengage, and it was because he was actually reading at a higher level than what she had prepared for in that group of 4. So she has rearranged her instruction, and she's doing more of a centered approach with the students, and she's providing him a different level of reading instruction and looking at what he can do. So these students were concentrating on just what the short A sound could make, what words had the short A sound. He was beyond that. Because of that, he just kind of ripped through things, and there was a lot of inaccuracy. So she now is working on all the short vowels at once with him to help him distinguish, where the other students just want to work on short A. You know, that's what they do. Right? So all that kind of thing. Depending on what the skill is, you know, we dig down deep and work on specifics.
So I'll just interject. Another strategy would be, for example, Ms. D'Amico and Ms. Backlund have worked with their content coordinators and did professional development around research-based strategies for vocabulary. We know all our students need to improve their vocabulary, and that making sure that teachers are using similar strategies that are effective and research-based. So those are the same kinds of strategies that the ENL teachers should be using as well. And the other thing I just wanted to point out, please, if I could, is that Sandra mentioned about the NYSA slots and the raw score. The New York State 3-8 assessments are the same way. There's a raw score, then they determine each year, it's a different scale score for each level. And that changes and shifts with each exam, and then that's how students are put in a level. It's just marked differently on the NYSA slot versus the name of it, the level, on the other New York State assessments. And the district, or the state, that average is a state average. So you're comparing all school districts across the state, and they just give an average as opposed to our percentage is precisely just our students and how they did. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
That's one of the reasons why we have to wait for the school, because they do all that calculation. So Regents exams, we kind of left the 3-8 world, and we're going to Regents exams. So the first one I want to show you is the ELA Regents exam. We did very well on that. You see the Thunderbolts there. And what I think is even more important to point out is we gave the exam in January. So these are January results, coupled with the students that didn't make it through the first time had a chance to take it in June and August. So to have 85% is great, and we want to continue that practice of offering it in January. We had done it maybe 7-8 years ago, and then went away from it, but I think it really shows it's a great thing to do for us. The next one is Algebra 1, and I'd like those results to be stronger, especially I'd like to move 2 more 3s into 4, but we actually did well compared to the state. Geometry is an area for us to work on. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. This was a small group of students. It was only 14 tested. If you remember, we had done some switching with algebra and geometry. So we were teaching geometry in 9th grade and algebra in 10th grade. Because of the results that came out of that, I had to make a decision. I had told the math department, that we would no longer be doing that. Our results were much stronger, and we were getting more students through in algebra. I know why they wanted to do that, but when the results don't prove that that's the right choice, we have to respond to that. These are our Algebra 2 students. Again, less students go on to Algebra 2, but outstanding results, 93%. These are our living environment results. And our earth science, and I think that 8th grade piece, where you saw some strong scores, hands out here too. Oops, I think I went too fast on that one. Chemistry, good results for chemistry. And physics, this is another area for us to continue to work on. And again, this has had some turnover with staff, so I think we can get better.
So this is a regent, you're saying, in physics, but don't we, I know we had AP physics, but we're doing college level physics now, correct? Is that what we're doing in curriculum?
Right now, we're just offering Regents physics.
That's all we're offering our
Yes.
students now?
Yeah, and we have never had AP physics. We've had AP chemistry, and we switched to chemistry 101 and 102.
Well, there was something that we had some engineering students that left here, and they said they wish they would have had this course here at the school, and we offered it, but we don't offer it anymore.
Not in my time. I think maybe when Alan Eggleston was here, he was certified to teach that. In my time here, we have not had someone with a master's in physics to offer that. These are our global, right on par with the state. And this is an area we've worked on through the years. So. U.S. history, a little bit better than the state. So key trends and wanderings here, our overall proficiency level was on par with the state proficiency level for most of our exams or above it. One exam category was below the state proficiency level, that was geometry. And then if you take a look at our NARIC region as well as our QuestStar region, these are really strong results in these areas. Algebra 2, 5th, chemistry 6th rank, and ELA is 7th. And that's again with that January. Our subgroup of students with disabilities still has that largest gap. All the other subgroups were close, but there's variability between the exams again. The high school has also been working on the academic vocabulary. Every week we hear the announcements of the word of the week, and I feel the high school students have grabbed onto it. Again, we're concentrating on learning walks and walkthroughs, uniform lesson planning with learning targets, increasing rigor through teacher leadership, and providing explicit differentiated instruction based on formative assessments that happen many times through a lesson period to remediate and advance the learning for all of our students.
I have a question, Sandra, about the January. You were saying it was good that you offered the test in January. Is that for students who didn't do well the last summer? Because I would think it's like a whole year and the readings are the end of the
So
summer.
they enter 11th grade. There's a high concentration in the fall semester on preparing for the January regents, and then they move their concentration onto a different approach, more of a literature-based approach after they do that test, and provide remediation to the students that would make it through the January so that they have a better chance of passing through. That's really important when you look at a student that's in their QuestStar program, because they really need to get through that exam so that they can go on to their senior year in Westar and not have that exam hanging over them.
Did you want to add anything to that?
With the juniors taking the Regents exam, especially the ELA, it's a 3-year exam. So they're most of the way through that course. And to be, pretty candid about it, that's usually not the course that's going to keep them from graduating, right? They're going to pass that Regents exam, the vast majority of them the first time. In addition to that, what also happens is junior year is usually typically the busiest year for Regents exams. So it kind of alleviates some of the stress come June, and it takes at least that exam off their plate so they can focus on their other exams. So.
Thank you, Mike. Traditionally, that exam has been a really high-performing exam in this district. We tend to do very well on the 11th grade exam through the years. Again, we're working on professional development, coaching for the math department, really building their capacity with clear expectations. So I talked a little bit about the geometry, and what we did this summer was we had Questar coach come in and work with the teachers on realignment of that algebra course and geometry course so that they were prepared going into the school year with that change. The learning targets, all these things I mentioned before, colleagues support colleagues through teacher leadership and that collaborative team approach. So some of the decisions that we have made in the past for changes based on the data that we have seen is we knew that we need to strengthen our approach to phonics instruction. We saw those third grade ELA results were not that higher. So working with Laura, we brought Hegarty in and we had the professional development for that, as well as recommitted to the foundations, which have been really successful for us prior to COVID and had kind of fallen apart during those COVID years. So we made that recommitment. Everybody was retrained or newly trained, and the principals really worked hard on redesigning their schedule with specific time blocks. I have a typo there. I didn't catch that. Neither did my secretary when she proved it. So we're sorry about that. And we want support for fidelity and generalization of those programs. So when we talk about fidelity, we want to know that it's being taught the same way in every classroom. It doesn't matter what first grade teacher a child has, they're going to have the same experience and generalizations across that. Next one, the sequence of math courses. I've talked about that quite a lot. We prepared for that change. We've looked at IWA results. We need to pay attention to 7th, 8th grade. When we looked at that math program, I came out of the gate and I said, there are 3 non-negotiables. We are going to choose a research-based program. It will be a K-8 adoption of the same thing because we need to have that vertical alignment, and it will be next generation standards alignment. We also have worked on mastery learning, and you are going to hear more about that as we move into portrait of graduates. But some of our math teachers have gone to some trainings on standards-based grading and mastery learning. Angela Webster has done a lot of work personally on mastery learning and worked with me, as well as Matt Fuller is in science. So I'm looking forward to more work on that. So on to science. We really prepared for that change in the testing format. If you remember, there was a performance part of the test for science as well as a written. Now it's all written computer-based. And we analyzed the previous assessments, but also really the anticipated changes, provided a lot of professional development prior to starting 2 years prior to the new exams. So all that was prepared for. We did summer curriculum work and strengthened our curriculum alignment. And the instructional coach has been key in this area. Sean has worked on professional development with the teachers and turnkey training, and he goes into the classroom, supports them, analyzes formative assessments with the teacher, and they change instruction based on that. They collaborate with all the science teachers, make all the grades, and they give specific interventions from their data analysis of those assessments. And they worked really hard this year at sharing strategies, teaching strategies. We had outstanding results for grade 5. We have a new grade 8 teacher. There has been a lot of conversation happening between Sean and those 2 individuals teaching those testing grade levels. And that is it. Thank you for your patience. I was pretty long-winded. I hope you found it informative. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate.
Thanks, Sandra.
Sandra, thank you.
Joe has a question.
A lot of data to absorb for us and stuff, and you show the, like, in the class, and you say we need 1 student to make the proficiency, 4 students here, this. How many, if the students that opted out all took the test, would we be up there?
I think we would. Mary told me the other day she thinks we would, right? If we had those other students testing.
So here's the $64 question. Are these parents not letting their kids take the test because they can? What reason would you not let your kid take a test in school? It's beyond me.
The
I'm just
reason
curious.
that I was given for all of them had to do with their anxiety. And truthfully, I don't know if it was the children's, excuse me, Sandra. I didn't know if it was the children's anxiety or the parents' anxiety.
Well,
I've had a number of conversations, and I plan on, I actually have it in my calendar to contact them before we even start the conversation, you know, and the information we send out about the
now the
testing.
state lets them opt them out?
They can opt them out.
But what if the state says they can't? I mean, the state says
Well,
things about other
it-
things.
it
Why does the
said
state
it
just say
couldn't,
you
then-
can't opt out?
It's just among the younger
Because-
students, Joe.
Because if I went home and told my mother, oh, I can't take this test, you're going to take the test, and I'm gonna take it.
I hear you,
It's
Joe.
just beyond me.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up at lobby day.
I have
Okay,
just a question.
definitely.
It's not exactly a question, but just to point out what Joe's saying, I just thought also I was noticing among the younger grades that even the New York State, it's not very good in a lot of cases. So I don't think, hopefully we're not just like, oh, good, we got there, good enough.
Never are
Because
we
obviously,
satisfied.
the
Never.
state level does not look that awesome a lot of the time.
Yes,
We are absolutely.
we're never satisfied.
So I didn't want us to be like, we made it, you know?
But
42%.
it's
They
important.
say they gotta have 3 more grams of protein at lunch, and they can't tell them to go take a test.
So
I think that's
I'm
all.
just saying.
But nonetheless, the amount of kids taking, we should be at a higher level anyway. Even in the crust.
And we'll discuss that next time. We'll talk about a lot of the things that we're doing in order to try to make that happen.
Okay, thank you. Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We want to celebrate our celebrations, but we never done. There's lots of
Right.
work to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. Linda, do you need this? Do you need the? Do you need that thing?
Yes, is it my turn?
You know what the lights are?
No, I need the lights on. I'm just like, I'm ready to go to sleep over here.
Yes.
All right, she needs that. Okay. Suffering for another one.
You're suffering.
I'm suffering.
Well, these are our ongoing
I am. I can't
initiatives. They're
stand
here
it.
every month.
I
It's
can't
not
stand
very
it.
much. Our goals, or my goals for our district this year, I'm not going to repeat those. Short, busy month since the last time we got together. We've had, you can see what we've done, the bus training safety with Bobby Joe, and I do want to commend Bobby Joe because she's really been making efforts to have opportunities for students not only to get on the electric buses and learn about them, but just making herself available to talk to students about bus safety, and it has helped and is making a difference. 7th grade science fair was last week. It was great to see the students' project, and there's a list, photo of our top winners and honorees. We had our governance retreat, as you know, that was great. We had professional development as we develop our multi-tiered systems of support for students, which just means making sure we're offering them everything that they need so that they have targeted support when they need it, so they can be successful. And next week is Regents and Midterm Week at the 7th through 12th grade level, and we'll be ending the start of the first semester and moving into the second. And it is School Board Appreciation Month, and just a reminder that the banners, there's 2 banners in front of you tonight, and those were in the library for students and staff to sign. Also, a special happy birthday to Ron, which was yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. And an early happy birthday to Molly on January 20th.
To you.
And Erin, I know we gave you your birthday card early, but you and Janine are both on the 27th, correct? Yes.
30 years old.
So, but I really wanted, I put this quote up here because Arnie Duncan was the U.S. Secretary of Education under Barack Obama, but I just, so more recently, and I really liked this statement from him because it is true. And we are appreciative to you for working with us, listening to us, caring and trusting our professional opinions, and supporting us not only with financial decisions, but our human resources, and acknowledging the work that our teachers, our support staff, our administrators do. So thank you for that. We also put up new bulletin boards. Every student.
Oh.
I don't know. Okay. So we have just put up bulletin boards, not only for strategic plan information right when you walk in the high school entrance, but across from the boardroom when you leave tonight. It's right out there if you haven't seen it. We do want to thank the Building and Grounds Department, Joey, Jim, Paul, Bob, for working on the boardroom and the hallways. They also moved a lot of memorabilia we had about building this campus and put it in the display cases, which is great because now we can really see it. And then after that, they have repainted, reorganized, and patched everything in here. If you weren't quite sure, wondering why it looks so fresh, that's why. So we're thankful to them. And these are just upcoming things during the month that are coming up. That is also information I put in your board report. So because we want to turn the lights on, I'm not going to go over that too much, but I do believe if I just jump down to lobby day, we have 3 people signed up to go. Myself, I think, Rick, and Bonnie. So if anybody else would want to go, then please let us know. And yeah, that was everything. Oh, just the science symposium will be here this weekend on Saturday, and last year that was a great event. If anybody has time to pop by, it's wonderful to hear the students present on their research projects and have other districts here as well. So thank you. Okay. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you. Wow. Man.
I hit the button.
I got focus now. Okay, we have a student liaison report. Aaron.
Good evening. I'm going to begin my report by talking about student achievements. This past week, the 7th graders held their science fair in the library, and these projects ranged from projects in aerodynamics to projects with growing plants through hydroponics. And 6 winners were chosen and 6 runner-ups were chosen. Usually the science fair is held in the spring, but this year it was held in the winter in hopes of preparing some of the winners to be able to participate in a science research or a science fair competition at RPI. In the elementary, well, students of the month. In the elementary, there's students in grades 5 through 6 that are chosen monthly as students of the month for going above and beyond. And these students are recognized on the Taconic Hills webpage and can be found in the Taconic Hills Friday newsletter. My next topic is school events and activities. The ski bus. This past week, the Learn to Ski program started up again for this year. The program is now running on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays. And this year there's a bus for the high school students as well as the elementary students. Pep rally. This Friday, the student council was supposed to hold a pep rally for the winter sports season. However, this Friday is the last day before the quarter ends, and therefore the pep rally got pushed to a later date because it's the last day before the quarter ends. Spelling bee. In March, there's Taconic Hills students that are going to go to Marist College again this year to compete in the spelling bee. And that's currently being advertised in the library to sign up, and it's a great time. They provide like a huge breakfast, and it's just a great time to go. I went last year and loved it. Bus safety assembly. Last Monday, grades pre-K through 2 held a bus safety assembly in the elementary. Clubs. The elementary school continues to hold many weekly and monthly clubs, and one of the most notable clubs is the homework club, which meets Monday through Thursday, and kids are allowed to stay after and work on homework. A new club in the elementary is the board game club. My next topic is academic updates. With the midterms quickly approaching, which are next week, there's been an uptick in student involvement in the peer tutoring program. Midterms are taking place next week, and on Tuesday, grade 11 students are taking the English Regents, and then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the school is following a block schedule kind of system for the midterms. Scholarships. The high school guidance counselors have begun contacting senior students and informing them on upcoming scholarships, and they've been giving information on the scholarships as well as deadlines to apply. Seal of civic readiness. Starting this school year, seniors who meet the requirements through the state are able to get a civic readiness seal on their diploma. Students must complete all requirements for a local or Regents diploma and must have 2 points in civic knowledge and 2 points in civic participation. Word of the week. Word of the week continues in both the elementary and high schools. In the elementary, the words for January so far have been summarize and perspective. And these words are posted all over, as well as incorporated into the learning material in the classroom. And one of the goals with the word of the week is to build student vocabulary, so that way when students are test taking, for example, they have a higher vocabulary and are able to comprehend the test questions easier. Movement in the elementary. In the elementary, classrooms have been going outside of their comfort zone with movement, and the kids are able to move around instead of sitting down all day, but they're engaged and learning while doing so. And some of the examples of movement include using the active floor, which the elementary students have a lot of fun using, but while doing so, they're learning and they're very engaged in doing so. Another example of movement is having students move to a certain area of the room depending on their answer to a question. But this movement gets the students moving instead of sitting all day. For student topics, I have no reports for this meeting. Positivity. In the school, it's important for administrative personnel to kind of get around the school and interact with students and build connections. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Superintendent Brunger. A student had pointed out how something had spilled in the cafeteria, and Superintendent Brunger took it upon herself to clean it up herself. And the student was impressed with that. Elementary Tight and Strong Awards. In addition to the high school having Tight and Strong Awards every Friday, the elementary also has Tight and Strong Awards. On average, there's 5 students a day that are receiving these awards. Every morning, the students who receive the awards are announced over the announcements, and then on Friday, the students are called down and a picture is taken of them with their awards, and then the picture is posted on the Taconic Hills webpage. And these Tight and Strong Awards are given out for a variety of reasons, including students picking up garbage or students finding money on the ground and turning it into the office. And with that, that will conclude my report.
Aaron,
Thank you.
I just want to say that you really put a lot of effort into
Yes, he does.
researching the material you bring to us. I really appreciate that. That is really awesome.
Thank
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, really great job.
You have any pictures of Superintendent Brunger picking up? But I think that should be in the hallway, some giant poster of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so now we're on to the Board of Education member activity reports. I'll start with Janine. Anything?
No, I always feel guilty after going after Aaron.
I know. That's okay, Jenny. He got a compliment from the board president, and I didn't. Mine was, can you hurry up through this so we can turn the
Yes, we turn the lights on, yeah.
I've been going to some of the girls' basketball games, policy committee meeting, and then the Board of Education retreat, and that was great. Yeah, I liked that. That's it.
Joseph?
And the retreat was great, as usual. It always helps out for everyone to get along. And I did go to the youth basketball
Oh, yeah?
on Sunday. And that's where Angela's got to do some recruiting. I seen some really good athletes. These little
Get
hot
some fourth
dogs.
graders on the
These little hot
team.
dogs that watch the clock. And then they make a simulated 3-pointer with 4 seconds left. I was like, I don't think my nephew's kid, but I couldn't, I'm like, really? Does he have to be a hot dog? That's about it.
That's the future.
I also went to the board retreat. Thank you, Lynette. It was really awesome. I went to a couple basketball games between Christmas and New Year's that were very far away. I don't remember where they were. And then policy meeting. That's it. It's been a short month this time.
Seemed like it went quick.
And I got to see Ron's son hit a 3-pointer at that faraway game.
Yeehaw.
And I got it on video and sent it to him.
Just like Steph Curry. He now has 3 points for the season. Hey, good little 3 points. I went to a couple basketball games. We win and lose. Doing pretty good. The varsity team's doing fairly well. Went to Maple Hill. I will be at, I forget the name of the team we're playing Friday. It starts with a C. I don't know, but whatever they are, I will be watching that game on Friday. Hopefully we win that game.
That didn't bring anxiety to you?
Yeah, I get a little, see. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, Molly, anything?
I loved our professional development day so much, and I just want to highlight that our guest speaker and facilitator, who's also a superintendent, was elected to the board as a student.
Yeah,
So
that's
we're
right.
not crazy, it happened.
That's right.
And tomorrow night, I do plan on attending the National Honor Society luncheon.
Nice.
I agree with Molly. Our board retreat was very informative and it was definitely enjoyable.
I really liked the
Yeah,
presenter.
yeah.
He was really good.
Really
And
good.
he presented another workshop for us and he did a great job. I also have the retreat, but I wanted to, I don't know if any of you, I mean, I know we just got this, if any of you got this on board. So on the very back, last month when I reported out about Comac School District, they had like the School of Medicine, the School of Law. So they do have an article in here, so it's really cool. I mean, I love that they're doing this kind of stuff there. And the other thing that was on board is, if you look at NYSBA's #1 priority in the, going into the legislators is daycare. So that's their #1, so.
We always have a jump on everything. They're making a big deal on it.
And I also want to mention these signs are amazing. I
Yes, they
love
are.
these signs, they're so cool. We should hang them, can we hang them up in here, our nice painted walls?
Well, we could put them even,
Oh, in the hallway, yeah, that's good.
across from the.
Very
next to
nice,
your
they did a
picture.
great job.
Can I just point out too that, the report that that I put that link in the board report, so you can access the whole thing that way as well. Or if you wanted to go back and look at the article that Bonnie pointed out.
Yeah, it's really cool. Rick?
We're gearing up for Lobby Day. Thank you, Lynette and Alexis, for setting up the appointments. So we're gonna go up there and renew some old friendships that we have with some legislators, and hopefully make a new one. So we're gonna tell them what we're doing, tell them what we want, and tell them what they should do.
How much cash should we bring?
Huh?
Cash.
No, we're doing credit card.
Oh. They have those, slide things.
All right, so now we have new business, so we have policies. I need a motion, we have a rescission, we have the first read and a first and a second read of one policy. So can I have a motion, please, for the policy? Margaret, second, Janine. And Margaret's just gonna explain, I know we don't normally have the first and second read typically, or a rescission, so she's gonna explain.
Yeah, we have a policy on head lice that we're pushing first and second read. It's a very short policy. We basically had to cut out some stuff that we didn't need anymore. We're following CDC and NYSBA guidelines. We're just gonna make it easier, streamlined, and we wanted to get that through right away. So first, second read and approved tonight so that no kids are affected negatively by that. And then we're rescinding, which we don't usually do, policy 0110.1, because NYSBA also is recommending that because we're bringing in 2 new policies. It's just going to be redundant. It's going to be covered in other areas, so we're just kind of streamlining, making it easier.
Okay, anybody got any questions about that? All in favor? Thank you. All right, we have a donation here from stewards to the elementary school drama club. Can I have a motion, please? Motion, Heidi. Second, Molly. Any questions? All in favor? All right, we have 2 field trips, I believe. We have 6th grade to Catamount Resort, and then grades 9 through 12 drama and ELA classes to Shakespeare and Company in Lenox. So can I have a motion for those 2 trips? Molly, second. Margaret, any questions? All in favor? Okay, so these are the new courses that Sandra presented on tonight. So I need a motion to approve those new courses. Joe and Heidi, any questions? All in favor? The extracurricular activities schedule, I need a motion for that, please. Margaret, second. Rick? I looked that way this time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? All in favor? So now we have 2 insurance proceeds from 2 separate vehicle accidents, September 18th and October 2nd. Motion to approve the insurance proceeds. Margaret, second. Janine, any questions? All in favor? All right, we have the Questar board nominations. So Nadine's been on that board for quite a while, and she is, I think she's up for nomination. So I need a nomination for Nadine to be on the Questar board. Joe and Ron. Any questions? All in favor? All right. Congratulations, Nadine. I don't know if she came tonight.
We're watching.
Yeah, she's watching. And Health and Welfare Services, I need a motion for that, please. Molly, second. Margaret, any questions? All in favor? All right, I have MOA with the Chicana Hills Faculty Association is for they're granting graduate credit hours for the internships. Can I have a motion, please? Margaret, sorry. Molly, Margaret and Molly, sorry. Any questions? All in favor? All right, so now we have the personnel agenda, which will go from B through M. Very clear, B through M. I need a motion, please. Ron, Margaret, and just want to go through those. Any questions on any of those? We have a Spanish teacher that's a probationary appointment. That's great. Okay, anybody have any questions? All in favor? All right, public, anybody for public session? All right. Additional items to discuss. The only thing I had listed here that I wanted to just bring up was Lobby Day that Lynette had just brought up. So if anyone's interested in joining us for that day, it's February 12th. It's pretty much all day.
What day is that?
It's a Wednesday.
I have to work that day.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there if anyone was interested. I mean, normally, last year Rick and I went because we were on the legislative committee. I think Kevin wants to go. I just haven't really connected with him, but if anyone's interested, let me know. And we need to go into executive session. So I need a motion to go into executive session. Heidi and Margaret. All in favor? All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
And guys, we can sign your stuff now, so you don't have to wait around for executive.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for passing that policy.
Yeah, absolutely. That needed to happen. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys brought that to us. Hi.
You know what my daughter said?
Is that how you do it? Sure. Yeah, I mean, you guys put my face in the review. Okay. That'd be great, guys.